What up? What up? What up? Strike League Podcast, man. Episode number 185. That's crazy. It's like nobody knows this podcast exists. Let's keep it funky. But we've been doing this for so long because we had so much fun. And this episode is what I call a Danny Tanner episode. We got a full house, full squad, full roster. Sigmund, Nicholas, Rocket, Merritt. We all here. And man, I feel like the drama came out. Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, and it's such a compelling story. I wanted to in-depth, spoiler-heavy talk about this movie, and that is what we did. And I want y'all to know, Eric Sigmund said that we could not fill up a full episode talking about this one movie, and that is just what we did. Yeah, and it was fun. So, does it make any difference whether I tell y'all what has been in the theater over the past couple weeks, man? On the 1st of April, the Super Mario Galaxy movie came out. The drama, the topic of discussion this episode came out Friday, the 3rd of April. And You, Me, and Tuscany came out the 10th of April. Upcoming was Lee Cronin's The Mummy, a.k.a. the next Rolodex, close your eyes and whatever you hit on the dartboard gets a movie ass possessed little kid thing. Hopefully y'all have fun if you watch it. I'm not checking for that shit. And then the 24th, the week of the next episode, Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic comes out. On physical media, I guess I should have queued up March. On March 31st, we had... Did I get anything that week? Apparently Marty Supreme came out that week. Greenland 2 came out. Greenland got a 4K upgrade. The SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. And then, I mean, that's kind of it. That was more or less a light Tuesday. The first Tuesday in April, though, the 7th, it was also kind of a light Tuesday. Where we at? So much dead space and my internet is lagging. Mercy. Chris Pratt, Rebecca Ferguson. I see a Carlito's Way Steelbook. VHS Halloween. A lightish Tuesday. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh, Disney put those stupid ass Star Wars trilogy Blu-ray box sets out, I guess. I don't know why they were necessary. I only see 2 trilogies though. Whatever. This upcoming Tuesday is the 14th. Life of Brian. Looks like Criterion. Kino Lorber putting out The Phantom. Meet the Fockers on 4K. That is not the Nicolas Cage Trouble in Paradise. A lightish Tuesday. I'm only getting Meet the Fockers. The 21st, though, you got to take out a whole second mortgage on your crib. 28 years later, The Bone Temple, Send Help, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, Sleepers, Die My Love, Primate, Shelter, Strangers Chapter 3, Christie. I think Mr. Saturday Night is an upgrade. I just don't own it. That's the Tuesday before the next episode. And upon my return, squad will be deep. I think we chop it up a little bit here and there, and then we will be talking, again, spoiler warning, in depth. If you haven't seen the drama, go see it, come back, kick it with us. It's Rec League. Back at it. I know y'all watching. I know y'all listening. Don't give a fuck. But this is finna be the last episode in this location. Next episode should be a whole new backdrop, super clean, building it up right. I don't even know if these yahoos care. Eric Sigmund, Nicholas Goodman, Rocket Raccoon. Merritt is on the way, so we gotta vamp and stall a little bit.
I'm about to say I saw him in the group, that guy.
Cause he specifically said, "Don't start the main topic until I'm there."
You know what? I got something we didn't mention, shamelessly didn't mention on the last episode.
I wanted to ask Rocket what he thought about Mario.
Man, and that, oh boy. Yes.
I'll say this. First one's better.
First one's better.
This one, you could definitely tell it was more aimed for kids. Like, I mean, they're both for kids, but I feel like the first one was more kids and adults to a degree. This one was aimed more for kids.
You think them little kids are going to understand the Biggie Yoshi reference?
Had a lot of character cameos.
Yeah.
Like the cool one I thought was Mr. Game Watch. Mr. Game and Watch. That's towards the end. But at the end of the day, I thought it was okay. Like, you know, when it comes to movies like that, I just shut my brain off and just watch and see what I enjoyed it. That's pretty much it. Like, I gave it a 6 out of 10. But, you know, for kids, yes,
fair.
Definitely. The kids would definitely enjoy this. First one, though, I think worked for both.
Mm. What do you think about the wasted cameo of Star Fox?
I hope he gets his own movie. I hope they do a spin-off and he gets his own movie because Glenn Powell voicing him was great. But that's the thing. It's like, here's a cameo. He comes in. He helps him out. But then that was pretty much his, the ploy to him. Like, it was just him to bring them over there. And then he was in the background. He's here, sprinkled in a couple of scenes here and there. Then he leaves. So I hope he gets his own movie.
Yeah, I think and Donkey Kong are gonna get movies.
I got something to run past y'all about Mario Galaxy, and it's interesting. Whether you like it or you don't, I think somebody makes a good point about why Pixar movies work like across the board for the most part, and why everybody is split on this Mario Galaxy. It's what they called emotional literacy, and they said it's basically missing from the Galaxy movie. They were so worried about nostalgia and look at this moments that it's not a lot of emotional literacy. Like the main characters, you don't really invest into them, whether you like it or not. And I think that's a hell of a point.
Because think about it. Look at like Pixar or sometimes even DreamWorks. It's at the end of the day, it's there's a little bit for the kids. And then they make these references that adults would only get. Like kids will find it funny, but adults would get. With this one, it was more like, look who's over there. Remember this character here, and yes, it brought me back to when I played those games and like, oh yeah, look who's there. Star Fox and Mr. Game & Watch, which basically when it came to Mr. Game & Watch, it was like, that was what set off, basically the handheld Game Boy. Like that was like Game Boy before Game Boy, and that was the thing. It's like, but it was like individuals. Like if you wanted to play Donkey Kong, you had to buy the Donkey Kong one. If you wanted to play Super Mario, you had to buy the specific Super Mario handheld one. So I had like 5 or 6 of these games all but they were by Game & Watch. Then you had Mr. Flipburger, guys flipping hamburger. Like it was kind of cool at that time. And what they did was that gave them the idea to start the Game Boy. Why have individual games when you could just have one device and we sell you little cartridges? So like some of these things, cameos to me were cool, but it was also like when people take 20 ideas and, throw them at the wall and see what sticks. That's what it was like a mishmash of characters just thrown together with, Rosalina, Peach, Yoshi, Luigi, and Mario. They're the main guys, but yet here's everybody else. It was all right.
A good example is like you look at like, was it Ralph Breaks the Internet?
There you go.
Like doing that thing, but also still competing with like It's like, it doesn't work if you don't have like an emotional attachment to the main.
Exactly.
That's why like their main storyline still works, but you can have like, oh well, let's put Star Wars over here and the princess is over here, and oh, this is Google and this is Twitter and all that, and it's like it still works, even though people will probably act like it doesn't. It still works.
Yeah.
Fine. It's fine, and like I think that's what holds DreamWorks back from being like truly like head to head with Disney, because it's like they'll do something like The Wild Robot,
Fantastic.
profound, which is just awesome.
Fantastic.
It just love Dogman, which Dogman's fine. It's fine, but it's like Rocket said, it's like it's fine for kids. It's fine for kids to read the books and all this stuff, but it's like then like Captain Underpants, where they're just like, how many references to the books can we throw in here without you really giving a shit?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's not really the Prince of Egypt, but it's something. But
So they jacked it up
yeah,
because of no, they jacked something else up that Randy mentioned multiple times, because it's obviously going to be another movie. The movie's a hit. Like, what's the next movie going to be? Mario Galaxy 2?
Yeah. that's
Yeah.
It should have been the third one. Should have been Mario Galaxy. The second one should have been
World.
land,
Yeah.
world.
Land or World.
hmm
But that's video game nerd stuff.
Yeah. What'd you guys? I know I missed out, but what'd you guys think of Project Hail Mary, real quick?
Before we go to Project Hail Mary, I don't know how legit they are, but I have seen that Luigi's Mansion might actually happen. I've seen that the third movie could be like a Bizarro, like a Wario World thing.
Yeah, there's endless. Like they're working on the Zelda thing,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody
Isn't that live action though?
Yeah.
Smash Brothers the movie, and it's like we're all just like, yeah, it'd be like the Avengers, without really thinking. It's like that would be horse shit. Like, what movie would that Smash Brothers the movie? Like, what even is that? It's like doesn't matter. It's Pikachu could be in it, and we'll get Oscar Isaac for everybody. And it's like that would be bullshit. That would be nothing, but it's gonna happen, and I'll go see it, and it'll make $2 billion.
For sure. Project Hail Mary is my favorite movie of the year. Next question.
It's
Okay. Agreed.
I'm so glad I saw it a second time.
Same. I've seen it twice already. I'll see it a third again. So.
And so for like 2 weeks, I couldn't go see it. It's like we went and saw The Bride in IMAX, but we couldn't go see it. So we saw The Bride regular, and it was like fine. We're not like missing out, by seeing it in the regular. But Project Hail Mary, I wanted to see it opening day, and I was like, I'm not waiting like 5 days. So I went and saw it, just a regular theater. It was great, but it was like it doesn't happen that often, but like while I was watching it, I was just like, I could tell this scene was made
Right.
for IMAX. Like they're going fishing. And he was like, I'm having a moment and all this stuff. And I was like, this was like made for the IMAX screen. It's down the hall. They're just not doing anything with it. So I went and saw it again in IMAX, and I was so glad that I did.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes.
Tough to rock.
What did we not mention last episode, Eric?
Well, I think it was an in-between episode thing that happened. What did you? It's related. When you served in the military, what was it? Air Force.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a segue. So somebody passed away, an Air Force veteran. He served from 68. When did he serve? But anywho, he learned in the Air Force. I think he served 4 or 5 years. He learned in the Air Force what he would become best known for: martial arts. So, Carlos Ray. Y'all familiar with him?
No.
So Carlos Ray Norris.
Yeah.
Better known as
Chuck.
Norris.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Then I was like, oh no, I don't know Carl.
Yeah. No, served in the Air Force,
Carlos
and that's where he learned martial arts. And of course, that would go on to be his thing. He would meet.
Chuck Norris knew martial arts?
Oh yeah. Just a little bit, just a little.
Oh, okay.
He would go on to be an actor. He would meet somebody named Jim Kelly, who was a championship martial arts competitor.
The quarterback?
No, not that Jim Kelly. But anywho,
The Chuck Norris of Top Dog fame.
hey, Top Dog was. Remember those stretch of dog movies, K9, Top Dog, and but anyway, yeah, Chuck Norris. I think it was just an oversight. We didn't mention him and his interesting like movie and TV career, which was, and being me and Rocket's age, we witnessed a lot of it in real time for the Canon Films.
Don't make a joke.
Shut up, Brandy.
Don't make a joke.
I was just gonna.
Don't make a joke. Don't make a joke. Like his Walker Texas Ranger lasted like 6, 7, 8 seasons.
If not more than that.
Damn.
Yeah, Saturdays on the chokehold.
CW just tried bringing that shit back within the last 2-3 years, and that shit got canceled immediately.
Yeah, people forget about that. That's a good point.
Expeditiously.
But no, Walker Texas Ranger, they had, and it's crazy because how was a hit TV show on Saturday, but Walker Texas Ranger did it. It was good and corny, but it had its
It took everything that I had. Not to, like, when I do my RIP things, like I try to find like a good scene or multiple, depending on, it's like a scene that kind of showcases. And it took everything I had not to do the
Conan ruined that.
Walker said I have AIDS.
Y'all don't.
Like, I'm not
I
putting.
don't remember that.
And let him know who that actor was, Nick.
That was Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment.
Age. Walker says I have AIDS.
Oh man,
Wilford Brimley.
Was that him?
He's like, well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, it was one of those actors that Wilford Brimley or E. Emmett Walsh. One of those actors who you think of the same person.
Walker says I have AIDS.
Emmett Walsh.
No, this is not indicative of Chuck Norris's legacy.
Jill's dad from Home Improvement. Emmett Walsh.
Emmett Walsh, yeah, but no, it's amazing. If you know anything, Chuck came onto the scene, which is crazy. In my opinion, one of the top 5 best fight scenes of all time. 1970. That's more than 50 freaking years, and it still holds up with Bruce Lee when they fought. And what's crazy is you see how precious life can be. Bruce Lee, unfortunately, died at 32. And Chuck just died last month. And Chuck and Bruce were the same age.
Damn.
That's wild.
You know what I mean? They were both born in 1940. And, you know, if what happened to Bruce didn't happen, imagine the course of
history.
Yeah, and how different it would have been. And even with this is a segue for a movie we're going to talk about next month. Like, imagine Mortal Kombat.
I had no plans to talk about no Mortal Kombat. What is a Mortal Kombat?
Oh, of course we do. But now, anyway, you know,
I saw one of these goofy ass fucking streamers. I got to get my TikTok shit on. Enter the Dragon and Mortal Kombat 95 are practically the same movie.
Oh boy,
you bitch!
So we could go into that. Basically, the Mortal Kombat game was inspired.
The most annoying shit in the world on the internet to me is normies who want to talk about some shit that they really don't know nothing about.
Yes,
weren't even around for it. Like,
you know
it's around for it to be wrong.
You know what I
mean? Yeah. You got to have some frame of reference. It's like when the brand new Scary Movie trailer came out, and Shawn Wayne's like, we want to do some halfway gay stuff, and Shawn Wayne's like, why just halfway? somebody made a post about that.
Why just half gay?
And they said somebody made a post about that, and they said Homeboy was ready to risk it all. I'm like, so you obviously don't know the character.
Yeah, that's the joke.
Yes.
Hey dog.
Oh, look at
this shirt make me look gay? Nah, man. How about now?
It's hot buttered soul over here, as the cage.
Damn, we ain't been 5 deep in a minute.
5 deep in a minute, son?
We ain't been 5 deep in a minute.
What up, people?
What's up?
Damn, what the hell? You just come here happy. That's good, but
hey man, this is me all the time. What you mean?
It really is. Yeah. So we can stop the bullshitting now.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the drama, watching, listening, if you haven't seen the drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, fuck off. Rocket is the only one catching these spoilers. We talking about everything. And
Rocket.
I know.
That's what
I
I
know.
said. I gave the speech already.
the gist.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson and Zendaya are about to get married. It's the week of. They are at this wine tasting or some shit with their maid of honor and their best man who are already married and together. They go around, what's the worst thing you ever did in your life, da 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 da. Intoxicated, Zendaya is just following instructions. And based on her revelation, everything just goes left. I want to get, because me and Merritt have chopped it up in depth already.
Mm-hmm.
Nick sent me some shit, so I kind of know where he leans. Eric, I want to know what you thought about, because all I know is that escalated quickly. Give us some detail.
My review.
Yes.
About what she admitted, or just overall?
About all the penises and all the sexual goings on. What did you think about how she played the shit out? How everybody reacted?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could do that.
So before we get going,
Oh
I
wait,
haven't seen
actually
it.
say the thing.
Right? I know what the preference is. It's basically, they played a game, whatever. Oh, they had friends over, played a game or whatever, got drunk, and then she professed to saying that she was thinking of some sort of like school shooting.
Damn, he already
And she
knew.
act-
Son of a bitch.
He said that.
So
Spoiled.
I'm gonna call Buddy. I'm gonna call Mamodu Athi. I'm gonna call him Elemental. It's just easier for me to pronounce. He said some shit that was very foul. What's her name? Alana Haim said some shit
Talk about,
that was the most
Rocket,
foul shit around the table.
Rocket, are you okay with us spoiling?
Oh, trust me,
No, he already knows. He
already
didn't tell him.
Yeah, he knows what Zendaya
This
did.
for the first, this is one of those movies. It's almost impossible to talk about without spoiling it. It's impossible.
No, and that's the thing. Like I told
Alright,
these guys
so-
too.
All right, so the black guy.
Zendaya planned but did not carry out,
Yes, that's what I.
and she just gets looked at like the worst motherfucker to ever take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
I want to get Eric's reaction.
All right, so and yeah, no, Merritt used sidebar, which is funny. Like for the longest time, because I don't know, I guess it's a military thing. You kept calling Merritt. I thought that was your first name for the longest time. But anyway, I'm like, who the hell is Javon? What?
What the fuck is a Javon?
Like, who the hell is that? I'm like, oh, no. But anyway,
Well, if his name wasn't iPhone 2 on the screen right now.
right.
You want me to change it? How you change that?
I don't. It's been years since I've set up Zoom. I don't know.
Yeah, you call him elemental. That's funny.
All right, Eric, go
But
ahead,
no,
man.
get right back to the thing. So anyway, yeah, they're at this wine tasting, dinner tasting thingy, and I'm be a little long-winded. I mean, we got a lot of time. We talking about this main topic.
What else is new?
So it was 4 of them there, and they admit the most craziest thing that they did. And out of the 4, the 2 couples, the 3 of them are the ones that actually followed through and did the thing, which is interesting. And then she admits what she was planning on doing, and she actually didn't follow through. So they've all been intoxicated. This kicks off the main plot of the movie. And so approaching it from, like, I had a conversation with my sister who is a mental health professional. She's basically a psychiatrist and a mental health counselor. And the interesting thing is, when you drink, I'm sure a lot of us have had a drink, and
Nick.
and they call it truth serum. And in that, I think in that moment, what the story speaks to is she felt safe in that moment, which is why she basically confessed. But then immediately, this is part of the plot, she gets judged, and she's the only one at the table. This is why I like why the story is layered, that didn't do the thing. It's heavy, but also we go through in flashbacks of where her mindset was at, and throughout the movie, what she tries to explain to everybody else. And the thing is, they just want to judge her for the thing that didn't happen instead of her mental health journey to get better, which she did. And that's the interesting part about the movie. And even in real life,
okay, so it sounds like we all lean the same
scared.
way.
No, that's why people are scared in real life to talk about mental health, because that was a hell of a thing that she admitted, and it was brave. It was jacked up, and she didn't do it, but she got better.
Yeah.
But
and you can make the argument that like the stuff like what Alana Haim did.
Yeah, that was a jacked up shit about
the other
everybody.
two people
She's
did
the
some
most
fucked up shit.
judgmental.
Yeah, it's like
cyberbullying and
yeah, it's like that's pretty fucked up. And it's like you don't know. She just kind of plays it off. What she did, basically, I guess since we're doing spoilers, she said
left the disabled kid for dead.
Yeah,
she called him. Yeah, she called him slow. She had like a mentally disabled kid, like a neighbor who was like getting on her nerves, and so she like locked him in a closet and like left. And then there was
an abandoned RV in the woods.
Yeah. And there was like a search party. And they were like, "What happened?" She was like, "Oh no, well the cops they found him."
And no. But Nick, don't forget. Yeah. She left him overnight, locked in a closet.
Yeah,
right?
His dad came through.
His dad came to her dad came to her and asked her. She, out of fear of getting in trouble, she lied and said she didn't know.
Yeah.
But she had the opportunity right then to save the kid, and she didn't.
Yeah,
so she made the first mistake and then made another one.
Yeah.
On top of it.
And she's like, if they didn't find him or whatever, I would have confessed. And it was like, you wouldn't have.
He could have been dead by then, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
that's kind of the whole thing. And then it's like, what was his like? He used his girlfriend as a human.
Yeah, for the dog
on her birthday.
Yeah.
But like Eric, like you said though too, that's the problem. Like everybody, all of us, whether we have mental health issues or not, just normal day life is stressful. Just in general, right? We all get down on ourselves here and there. Everybody has those moments. And I, like you said it earlier, like a few moments ago, that's why some people that actually truly have mental health, they put a smile on their face. They fake it because they don't want to be in this society and the way things are now. Instead of people being honest, being like, look, I'm having issues, and you have family and friends that support, or just even outsiders that like, yeah, I understand. I may not know what you're going through, but I see what you're going through. You get judged right away. So why would people that do have mental health, why am I going to say something when I already know I'm going to get judged and perceived differently than anybody else?
Facts.
I have two things, and I talked to Randy about this already, so he knows. But the first thing that I want to say is like I basically summed up the premise of this movie is in terms of it being a societal message. Mm-hmm. So
I see that.
And the societal message in this movie specifically was that there's all of these things that happen, all these things that they said at the table was wrong, right? But in society, there's things we tend to put a measurement on how bad something is in comparison to other things.
Oh no, guns.
So, in society for us, and I'm gonna use two examples to make my point. In society with us, men having sexual relationships with underage women, like underage girls, and we know for a fact Epstein files, all these things, they've kind of turned a blind eye to that, and that's one of the worst things possible, right? But in society, it's kind of been like, oh, that's happening over there. It's not, whatever. Where school shootings has always in society been looked at as like one of the worst things that could ever happen, right? So because of these two things, when you think about this man used a woman as a human shield and pretty much was willing to let her die
on her birthday
and watch, that is a terrible thing, right? And he actually did it. This lady left a mentally disabled child in a closet to die. She left that child to die. Let's just be honest, right? Mm-hmm. And that is a terrible thing. But because the kid didn't die, it was like, oh, this is something we can laugh about now.
No
right?
harm, no foul.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but both of those are two horrendous things. But Zendaya even having the thought of a school shooting is because school shooting in society is viewed so bad.
No, bro. Like,
it's like, oh, she can't. That is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that was like the worst thing that could ever happen. I'm saying that was my first thing. The second thing I want to say real quick is we can't leave out the fact. I have my degree in psychology, and I did counseling for 5 years. We can't leave out the fact when we talk about this movie that she was also 15 or 16 years old, and I'm raising girls. I have a daughter who's turning 15. Mm-hmm. When you're a teenager, you're overly emotional. Everything is the worst thing in the world, right? And you tend to overly obsess on things. So she felt like she didn't feel like she was being bullied. She was unhappy in her life. Things wasn't going right or whatever. She overly obsessed with guns, and she went down a whole rabbit hole and whatever. Right. Like normal teenagers do, she overly obsessed over this one thing. And it was bad. It's really bad, right? But she was also a teenager. I feel like in this movie specifically, she grew up into a grown woman with a successful life, never had any violence, never been arrested, anything. They overly played, like went down on her for something she did as a over emotional teenager. You know what I'm saying?
And what did she say specifically, Mary? She said something that was interesting. You said she went down a rabbit hole. She said, I liked the aesthetics of it.
Yep.
Which was interesting phrasing.
And not to anything bad. Not to anything bad. But when I, as a teenager, when I first really got into hip hop, I went down a rabbit hole and I was overly obsessed. I bought every hip hop magazine. I read about every rapper. I bought every CD. The same thing that you guys did with movies. And like, as a teenager, that's when you overly obsess and become super hyper focused on things, right? She was just in a bad place and hyper focused on something really bad. But that goes to say the teenage mind of her not being as developed as she needed to be. Look how easily she moved off of it, though. As soon as she got some friends, as soon as she got friends, and then she started to go into these meetings, and then she became a advocate against gun violence, and then she started protesting. But it was like the whole obsession to guns didn't even last long. It didn't. She like all she needed was people to accept her, and then once she was accepted, she never went back to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like. I like this movie. I like what this movie did because it showed that the people who did these bad things didn't fix their issue later, but she did. Yeah, but she's the one that was overly obsessed with. You know,
what we was talking about though.
It's pretty much of how society is now.
Right.
The people that do the things and go through with it, sometimes they get caught, sometimes they don't. But the ones that think of things but didn't go through with it, they get vilified because people thinking the worst things about what could have happened about that situation. Even though they didn't go through it, they get vilified because they're thinking worst case scenario. Meanwhile, they don't look at themselves or what they actually did.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Alana Haim at the dinner, like with her blank face. Like, it was the most disgusting shit she had ever heard. She had to point out her family member who was a victim. And then later on, it's alluded to that the family member didn't even fuck with her like that.
Yeah.
But she made this big-ass sting, tried to, like, divert the attention to make sure that her fucked up shit wasn't focused on.
Yeah. The Twitter, how can I make this about me?
Right.
Thing. And then that's, it's like you said, they all told their stories, and like Pattinson's like, he couldn't think of one. He was like, I cyberbullied a kid so bad that he had to move away, and it was like, that's pretty fucked up. Like, that's and it's like, yeah, that's what it is. It's once the movie works at face value, which I think is important for like a movie that has like cultural subtext, where you think it has to just work at face value, which is
Right.
like the trailers, like what did she do that was fucked up, and then the aftermath. But it's really like it's fun enough to watch Pattinson just like kind of spiral out of control.
But that's where I wanted to go next.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also just it shows like if you're talking like you dig into it, you're talking about like the gun problem in the country, how no one is able to just talk about it. That's what I told my friend. Like we were kind of dissecting it after the thing. I was like, you know, would I be okay with it? I don't know, probably not. I'd probably talk to her about it the entire next. I'd be like, hey, we're gonna dig into this until about like I feel good. And like he just kind of didn't. Like they kind of sat for a while and like acted like it didn't happen. She sort of just told him a bit.
But that's where I thought, and I explained this to Randy like that. I thought the movie became a little unrealistic, and I loved the movie. So this is me nitpicking a little bit. I felt like as time went on, the movie became a little unrealistic in terms of like she told this whole story. Like she absolutely explained, I was 15 years old. I went through these things. This is what happened. Eventually, you know, I got friends, blah, 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 blah. And he was still like, it was like she was like Charlie Brown talking to him. Like he didn't hear nothing she said, right? And I was thinking about this as I like, you know, as we were getting closer to this pod.
Did you go see it again?
No, I didn't go see it again. But all of the things that they actually said, like he was technically not cyber bullying, but he was still technically bullying her in terms of like being there every day, re-bringing this thing up, attacking her with it, using it against her. Like the thing that he did that was real bad, he was still technically doing a version of that same thing. And the lady that was annoyed by the kid and left him for dead, blah, 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 she technically did the same thing to Zendaya. Like she pretty much isolated her so much that she was going to be like, that she could have fell back into how she felt as a teenager, right?
Yeah.
And even his best friend who used his girl or whatever as a shield or whatever, he was using Zendaya's story or whatever. He used her story and his wife, because he was the one that was like, you did that for real? Like it was him that like actually activated his wife. If you watch the movie, he used Zendaya's story. Because remember, when he told his, they stayed on him for a minute. They asked him questions, and he was like, "This is not about me."
Yeah,
remember,
he didn't want to share initially,
and then he immediately shifted, which is it's not physically using, but it's like, you know, it's still doing the same thing. Like he's pushing,
deflecting
the on somebody else. Like so, they technically still did it, and then they pushed it even further. I'm sorry, Rocket Man. I'm sorry because you didn't see the movie. But
that's good, bro. I like.
But they technically took it a step further with his coworker, right? Because remember, he asked her, "What's the worst thing you ever done?" And she was like, "I cheated, blah blah blah." And she was like, "I'm sorry for it. I would never do it again." Blah 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 blah.
And
as
then
soon as
SpongeBob,
he came onto her,
5 minutes later,
he came onto her, and she was like willing to throw it. She was willing, like, so she didn't learn her lesson. She was still willing to make that same mistake.
Yeah, there's a lot of accountability.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So where's the
But Robert Pattinson,
the unrealistic part
as a character
that you're talking about?
He was non-committal like the whole movie though.
I felt like Robert Pattinson became like him being like hearing the whole story.
The way this shit festered to him, he got silly.
I felt like it was unrealistic for him to dwell that hard, that much, for that long.
When you know something,
when he was talking
some people are. I mean, well, you military, right, Merrick?
Yeah.
All right, so the thing is, an interesting viewpoint. Sorry, Randy. is having lived in Texas for almost 10 years and then living in Chicago.
Man.
Some people are just
weird.
No,
when it comes to firearms and when it comes to guns. I can imagine a person like Pat. I've met that person before who are just terrified of guns. Like they would just come to life and do the evil. But
Pew pew.
and like you said, it's the societal thingy that what's the word? It conditions a person to think that the object is the issue and not the thing, and they dwell on it. So I could easily see a person like him just, instead of trying to solve what the problem is, what am I trying to say? Basically, instead of trying to get the answer to the problem, they're just focusing on the question and going backward.
No, I can see. It was just the rabbit hole that they had him going down, and this movie was like, "Yo, that is."
No, it was
for like,
and I could see it though, and like Nick said, it's the how can I make this about me thing, and he wasn't really trying to help her, and like and what he almost did with the other young lady after she mentioned what her thing was, and he like not used it against her, but he took advantage of it, and almost that's the interesting thing, and the movie is basically about a bunch of people. Everybody other than Zendaya not taking accountability.
For sure.
Yeah. But when
ruining the wedding.
Yeah.
You get to the wedding and it just kind of hits everything. It's like, oh, I fucked up the wedding. I've been fucking the wedding, doing this and doing that, and now my coworker's here and the new DJ's here and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Other thing. It's like they were going in on the DJ.
And I'm sorry, Nick, but before I forget, so in Texas, and even here, I conceal carry a firearm.
Like Chuck Norris.
A gun. No. No, so anyway, I was in Texas. I was think I was at a meeting or something, and it came up, and somebody was acting. We were at a restaurant. I remember.
Guns on the table, fellas.
Well, I was at a restaurant, and somebody was acting silly, and I'm like, oh, hope they don't come over here. And young lady said, and I'm like, oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that if they come over here, because he was yapping, he was drunk. They're like, he said, I'll air this whole bitch out. We know what that means. And I said, oh, I think he's just drunk. I don't think he's serious. Me telling other people, right? But no, and somebody asked, like, does anybody have anything to protect us? I'm like, if it come down to it, which I don't think it will, I'm like, yeah, I do. And she's like, oh, really? And the focus shift on to me having a firearm. Like, oh, man, those things make me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, I mean, well, technically, you know what you're saying. You're saying you're not comfortable with me.
They gonna make you feel safe if you come over here tripping.
Exactly. I'm like, what is it? Like, which one is it? You can't have it both ways. You asked, does somebody have something to protect us? But then the moment you find out I have this thing, you're uncomfortable. Like, which one is it? And the thing, like I said, a weapon is basically a firearm is an inanimate object without somebody operating it. Yeah. So you can't be uncomfortable with the thing if you're not uncomfortable with the person wielding it.
Trust.
So, and people don't realize that. I'm like, yeah, nothing's going to happen with that. So, and that's a lot of thing when it comes to firearm. People are like, oh, I hate guns. Now, you don't hate guns. You hate stupid people that do stupid things with guns. And a lot of people don't look at it that way. And that's what it is. It's not, this isn't Transformers. The gun's not going to come to life. But anyway,
when Pattinson was talking to Elemental outside, talking about bailing on the whole shit and going all the way back to London, I thought that was some shit in his head. How did y'all take it?
Well, apparently people on Twitter were just like, oh no, that really happened. And with the editing and everything, like, you can kind of tell like what was real and what wasn't.
I thought it was real too. I thought it happened. But I'm going to tell you why, and then you can tell me.
I thought that was like in her head.
I do in her head.
Yeah.
Okay. See.
I thought it was.
That's
why
I thought it was real. Because Pattinson, throughout the movie, you could tell when he was having thoughts that was like super extra, and you're like, oh, okay, this is in his brain. He's spiraling. I got that. And that specific scene, I thought that specific scene was real, because the scene before that, he was sitting in that same place talking to her. And then he left, and she was still sitting there drinking. And it was from her perspective that he was downstairs talking to his friend, and she could hear it from the window. And because she could hear it from the window, I was like, oh, this is real. He's really having this conversation. That's why I thought that was real.
Because it happened several times in the movie. At the wedding, she thought she heard something, or did she hear somebody talk about?
Yeah, and I don't think she did. I think that's how I took it, was like, because he was like, I'll go beat her up. Like what he was saying.
Yeah.
That's how I was just like, oh yeah, no, it's just her. It's just a.
And maybe she was spiraling too, because I never picked a part in the movie where she was spiraling, like where she was hearing things and whatever. It was always him. But I thought that specific scene, because me and Randy had that conversation, and I was like, no, I think that was real, because she was sitting by the window, and I don't think that he thought that she was sitting there and they were having this conversation, and she heard it. And if it was from his perspective, I would have been like, oh, that wasn't real. But because it was from hers, I was like, oh, that happened. I thought that happened. So
it works if it was real. Like I said, like fake.
Yeah, that's the thing. Either way,
acting.
And another thing. Another one of Randy's favorite scenes. I'm not going to get into it much. What I was saying about him being hyper fixed on.
I thought you were talking about smoking crack.
The problem. That was hilarious too. We can get to that. No, but Pattinson being hyper fixed on the question instead of getting to the answer is the photo session. I think that was one of the best scenes in the movie where you see him seeing himself with the younger version of her.
Right.
And that's him focused on the problem instead of, I think that's one of the best scenes in the movie when that was happening. But
this movie was very good. It was a very good movie. I think and that was the other thing about the societal message that I wanted to mention was the second chance part of it, right? So we see
the very beginning.
We see and that was like they from the very beginning. The initial scene.
Nick pointed that shit out to me.
Yeah.
He had to. He tried to approach her, fucked it up, and she gave him another chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And throughout this movie, even and I think people kind of missed this part. Even when they were sitting at the table, because remember the conversation actually started with them talking about seeing the DJ smoking outside of the building, right?
Yeah.
And when everybody else at the table was willing to crucify the DJ. They were like, you need to fire him or whatever. And Zendaya's character was like, no, she could be having the worst day she ever had. This could just be a bad day for her. You know, you can't just fire somebody for a decision they made one time, blah, blah, blah. So even then, she was even willing to give the DJ a second chance, right? Like that was a whole thing.
Until she checked her.
It was a societal message in that where we see it all the time, and it depends on what society has deemed worse than other things, right? We've seen actors and celebrities who have completely beat women or whatever, and then they wait a few years, and then they get a job, and then everybody loves them again, right? Or we've seen actors or whatever who's got accused of like some horrendous things, but our society has not put them on the same level as like other things, so they've been forgiven and allowed to have their career back.
Robert Downey Jr.
Where like Zendaya's character, because gun violence is such a high society thing in our country, her even having the thought was deemed worse than than things that actually happen as horrendous, because these things aren't viewed on the same level as that. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Like, but the second chance part of it is like they all sat around that table and was like, that's fucked up, but you know, we still your friend. But then when it came to her thought, that thought was enough for them to be like, fuck you, we ain't cool with you no more.
She was bailing on the wedding. She was talking about bailing on the wedding and then still showed up and caused a scene and shit.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing about it is think about it.
You ain't seen the movie.
You don't.
he know enough now. He know enough now.
It's like, I'm taking this from like how society is now, is people that have been in similar situations. Say something happened to like any of you guys, and I went through something similar, not exact, but similar. You're willing to understand. I hate when people say, you know, someone says something and people are like, I know what you mean. Do you? Do you know? Did you have? No, that's why I always tell people, I see what you're saying, because you're telling me something I may have not gone through, but I see your point of view, what you're trying to tell me. So I always tell people, I see what you're saying. But if it's something similar, the people that have gone through things that are similar are more willing, like Merritt was saying, you know, to give that second chance and forgive when someone else who's never been through that, sees that, they're like, damn, you're terrible. You're terrible. Like, they're willing, not to give that person a second chance, not even thinking, what were they going through? What was their mindset? What were they actually, like, at the end thing is, behind closed doors, people don't know what actual real people are going through. And that's the whole thing about this, is like, from what I'm hearing about the movie is, Zendaya's character, she had this thought and this thing she was going to do, because she didn't fully go through it. Remember, she was being bullied and all this, but at the end of the day, she was probably being bullied, going through all that since she was a little kid. And after time goes on, it builds up. People don't think that they're like, high school, you get bullied.
That's definitely how the movie played it. It's like this was a build-up of things, and then she saw this thing. She was on the internet. She saw this thing, and she hyper-focused on it, and it just happened to be the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is another thing, because me and Randy came out of the movie, and it was funny because coming out of the movie, I was a little nervous to even talk to him, because I left the movie thinking like,
you planned that.
She had a super fucked up thought for sure, but she was a teenage kid. She's a whole grown up now who's never been in trouble, never done nothing violent, had a successful life. Like, I feel like they went too hard on her for that thing when she became what she became or whatever. And I was nervous because I thought Randy may have a totally different, maybe he thought that she was super fucked up too, right? So when we first talked, I was like, what was your thought? Like, when we both told each other what we thought, we both exhaled like, okay, man, I thought, you know what I mean?
Because I was in the middle of the movie and I was finna text the group chat like, am I a fucked up person because I kind of ride for Zendaya right now? But then I deleted it because I didn't know how y'all was going to react.
It's also like, again, like, I go back to like how the communication breakdown just was like, because they keep showing flashbacks where she was like, I mean, like, I took my dad's rifle and I was like gonna do a school shooting. But then when you show the like flashback, she didn't have the rifle at school. And then she was like, well, then I saw the thing on the news and it made me not want to do it. And it was just like, you weren't gonna do it. Like, you could argue he was never really gonna do it. And then it the girl that was like fucking with her every day ended up being the girl that she like
was friends with.
And then became friends with, and then that snowballed into something that she became way more like passionate about. Like she said, the ethics of
that tells you how emotional teenagers are.
Yeah,
period. Like, you know what I mean.
But also, at the end of the day, though, is even now we're grown ass adults. How many adults did do something wrong, whether it's the easiest thing, and they had take no accountability?
But even higher than that, from our teenage years to even today, right? Even going down the line, exactly what you're saying. I was telling Randy this too. We've all had a super fucked up thought before. We've all had one. We've all had. It may not be a school shooting or whatever, but like, I've definitely seen somebody and they did something, or I didn't like them, and I was like, man, I would fuck this person up. I'll stab him with my fucking pencil. I'll do like all of these things. Like, you've had a super fucked up thought that you didn't do, and you wouldn't necessarily tell anybody either. She just happened to tell somebody her fucked up thought. You know what I mean?
I suffer through it every day. I'm a Giants fan. I think of the Giants, and I can't let go.
I do all the time. Like, I'll be like something will happen. I'll be like, dude, not to be dramatic, but if this happens, I'm going to lock the door and kill all of you and then myself. Like, I'll just like say something and people will just laugh. And I'm like, I could be serious. Like, but like, I'll say something.
YouTube is pulling this episode.
How many times have we watched a movie, a TV show, something in real life that like something super fucked up happened and you laughed? You know what I'm saying?
All the time.
You get what like these things. Intrusive thoughts is a thing for a reason. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like the I'm sure. I think I sent the George McFly meme when he's I think it's like a Jason movie. Him hitting the girl with the sleeping bag against the tree, and somebody edited George McFly, him laughing, pointing to the screen.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, right.
That's somebody's daughter.
Yeah,
That's
it's
fucked up.
But it,
Nah.
It also kind of plays into the movie as like he sort of fixates on like, you know, oh my God, all these people, you don't know what they're thinking and all this stuff. It's like, who could have had this thought? Maybe everybody has it. And it's like, that is kind of the point, is like,
right.
that was just, you know, she's 30 now, I think they say. So like 15 years ago, that would have put her in like 2010, 11, like peak social media, peak Tumblr.
She's got
peak,
double life experience.
where it's like, that was her outlet. You know, if you're, and like, we're all a little older than that. So it's like, we went to school before like social media really took over. So it's like, you went to school, you went home, you dealt with what you dealt with at school, you went home and you were home. But it's like, that was her outlet
Not now.
for getting fucked with every day. My dad has a gun and all this stuff, and like, I can get on here and it's like, these are my people and I can talk to my people. And then you realize it's like, oh, this isn't real life. Where we have mass shootings and it really disrupts, you know, and you can change, but then, you know, people like Alana Haim don't change.
Yeah.
but and that's the
You
thing
know, I had
too.
a cousin that was a
I
victim
think there
of a
was
shooting.
I think there was a social media message in this movie as well,
Yeah.
with the in terms of, you have a thought, you share that thought, and then you get hated
Mhm.
for that thought, right? Like when you post something on social media, that's your thought, and you didn't have to do anything. You didn't necessarily do anything, but you had a thought. You posted it, right? And once you post it, everybody hates you for it. There's millions of comments of people destroying you as a person, telling you the worst
Strangers.
person ever, telling you all these things based off of a thought, and that's pretty much what happened to her in this movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But don't ruin, well, as a favor to Rocket, don't ruin the specific ending. But going back to, I think you said Nick brought up to Randy,
I wanted
So
to
what-
bring up the ending.
what in filming,
A series.
in filmmaking, we call that a bookend. So you started, I wanted to do this a second chance, and then the ending, you know, when what happened, and it was, I don't know, it's up to Rocket if you don't mind us getting specific about it.
She
So
does-
it's
Rocket, you
basically a
listen,
bookend.
no matter.
I wanted a resolution.
Even hearing all this, Rocket, all this, you still want to see this movie.
Oh
Man.
no, I want to see the movie. I definitely want to see the movie.
I was sitting there like Aaliyah, like, we need a resolution.
But yeah, it's the bookend of the second chance thing,
Nah,
and
but
the
it was
ending.
just like cutesy, like, oh hey, let's start over. Let's forget
Yeah, I
everything
mean-
that just happened.
Well,
Fuck
when
that.
he tried, well, she remember she tried to do it dead
Yeah,
in the
that's
middle
the
of
thing,
the movie,
right.
and he wasn't receptive. And it wasn't until
Yeah.
he had completely fucked everything up that he needed a second
That he
chance,
understood,
and she
and,
gave
right,
him
he
a
needed
second
one,
chance
right.
again. And I jokingly called Randy. I think this was yesterday or the day before yesterday. And I was like, "Hey, would you consider this a rom-com?" Right? Because and I was
mean,
joking.
I
It's
was
honestly
laughing.
not a rom-com, but
it's a
remember,
cop.
it's supposed to be a dark comedy, right?
Yeah, that's
Dark
what I've
comedy,
heard.
right?
'Cause he tried to do her pants thing and then went up and busted her shit.
But like it's supposed to be a dark comedy, so it was some laughter in this movie.
Yeah,
But
it
you
was-
know how rom-coms, everything goes wrong, right? Everything completely goes wrong.
Right.
And then in the end, they still get married or still end up being
Yeah.
together or whatever. So when I called Randy, I was like, would you consider this a rom-com? He was like, no, hell no. I'm like, I'm just saying, in rom-coms, this exact same thing happens
Yeah.
in every single one of them.
The genre
Yeah.
is in the
but
title.
they didn't like hold your hand with it. I mean, they just let you know that he's willing to give it a chance. They didn't.
If y'all
You
was
know,
Zendaya,
But they were already married.
if y'all was
Yeah,
Zendaya,
well,
Right.
though,
technically, yeah.
yeah, fuck.
And they came to the table and they held hands.
Right.
So it's like she gave him another chance again.
Again.
Like
Right. Yeah, when he wouldn't give her one, but yeah, like you
And that's
said,
the
that,
thing is like from like with that scene right there where you told me, she gave him another chance, and like Eric was saying, when he didn't want to give her one at that time, it's say for example, a significant others or a family member, say they have the same thought process. Just think about it. You're gonna be like, damn, that's crazy. Like it's gonna hit you because that's somebody you're close to, you love, and for them, like I wouldn't think that way, but for them to think that way, that's messed up. That's the initial shock. But then also what people don't do, and I think this is what Merritt was also saying earlier, is that, okay, that's the initial shock. But then this is my friend, family member, someone I love and care for. What was their frame of thought at that moment that even I wasn't there to help them out, for them not to think that way, or to try to, if they were talking that way or thinking that they could have, where they couldn't have trusted me and said something where I could have helped them through that, where people think of, like I said, that initial thought, like, damn, that's fucked up. And that's how they just leave it. You're fucked up. That's messed up. That's this. But they don't go and try to put themselves in other people's frame thought or process. Like, why, like, okay, you're thinking that way. What would make me think that way? Even though I would never, but like, what, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's where a lot of people, that's why they don't give those second chances, pretty much. Just because I know I would never think that way. But if somebody I knew, whether it was a friend I cared for or significant other or family member, thought that way, yes, hearing that's shocking. Holy shit. But also at the end of the day is, where was I to help them out so they wouldn't have gone through that alone, or gone through that situation, or gone even through that thought process?
I think that's what made the movie insane, though, because it's like, how much redeeming do you have to do to be forgiving for something you did 15, 20, 30 years ago? And for her, even worse in this movie, this lady was a teenage girl that had a really, really bad thought and a really, really bad moment. She spent the rest of her life doing all the right things. So like, it's like, it's actually nothing she could have done to be forgiven for this thought that she had. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying? The girl was a nonviolent activist. She did protests. She formed this group against nonviolence, for nonviolence or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she grew up to be the successful person. Like, she did her whole adult life. She made it to 30, no issues. And she said, hey, I once had this thought, and her life fell apart, bro.
It's like it's not like they had just met. Let's go get married right now. They had been together for a couple years, and it's like as soon as she said that shit, like, everything in the past went out the window. Like, every single fucking time that she was ever angry, she could have just went off the hinges and shit. And instead of making a smoothie, she came in there to chop his ass up. Like, come on.
But it's like if a teenage kid robs a convenience store, right? And he gets in trouble or whatever, and he goes to a juvenile detention center for a couple years or whatever. Then he gets out and he graduates high school. Then he goes to college and gets his degree, and then he has a successful career or whatever. And then he's 30, 35 years old, no issues. He made this mistake when he was a teenager. Do we still hold this thing that he did as a teenager against him?
Oh, no, bro. You're a criminal.
You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, are we still saying, oh, no, you're a bad person? Because that's what they was doing to her in this movie. Like, she's a bad person. Like, they was saying these things to her. And it's like, this, if it was this dude robbed the store as a juvenile and blah, 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 but then he's 35, 40 years old, living a good life, and he just say, hey, one time I got in trouble. I was poor. We didn't have anything. I robbed the store and I had to go to a juvenile center. Do we then now hold him accountable at 35, 40 for something he did at 14 to 15 years old?
Do we hold Aladdin accountable? Aladdin did the same shit.
It's not Aladdin.
They called him street rat his whole life. It's like a sport.
He was jacking that bread, though.
So that's an answer to me. Who directed this movie?
The dude who did Dream Scenario.
And that's where I wanted to get to. Have any of y'all seen Dream Scenario?
No.
Please watch it. That's a great freaking movie.
I enjoyed Dream Scenario. It was good.
Yeah, that's a hell of a movie. And it in itself,
I'll watch it.
It's a bit satirical. It has a lot to say about.
I want
this guy has a lot to say about societal issues and whatnot. And Dream Scenario is nuts.
And that's
I highly
exactly what I
recommend
thought
it.
this was. I thought this was
Yeah.
I thought you like Nick said, if you just want to go and watch a movie face value and have a good dialogue movie, you can go and have that. But I think this movie is very much deep rooted in having a message about society and the way that we
Right.
view, the way we measure what
Mhm.
things are worse than what things, and how we view giving second chances
Yeah.
for things society say are bad and real bad, based on that, and not having a level even level playing field.
Apparently, leaving a disabled kid to die in the woods in an RV is not that bad.
And I bring this
That's
up.
not as bad. That's not as bad as thinking about.
That's not as bad as your
Right.
You know.
thoughts.
Yeah.
And I bring this up
Just
because
my
the
thought.
director of it,
Mary,
his name
you
is.
you the worst one on social media talking about just my thoughts. Everybody gonna come to your ass.
Hey
No,
man,
the Twitter.
I kind of retired my just my thoughts thing, man. Like,
No, he's
Is Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
But no, that's the king of Twitter right there.
Mhm.
you know, I don't even use that page no more, man.
Damn, you should. But no, I brought up the filmmaker. He's Christopher Borgli or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because he's Norwegian. He's not American, and it's interesting he's an outside looking in view of American society, and I think that's
the
why.
best view. Yeah, sometimes the best view, man.
And he writes and directs all of his movies.
He knows our
And-
country's a toilet.
Yeah, but definitely watch Dream Scenario. That's a great movie, I think, and has a lot to say about
Ari Aster produced both of those movies.
it's A24 stuff. Yeah.
So you know it's good.
So you know it's good.
But
Oh,
it was to be as simple as it wasn't a bunch of locations. It wasn't to be as simple of a movie as it was. I thought it was a very good movie.
It is.
I was telling Randy, you know, a movie is good when the movie ended, when the movie went off. People didn't immediately leave my theater. Like, people were kind of standing around talking to each other about what they just watched. Strangers, like the person beside me that was sitting beside me, he looked over at me and was like, "That was crazy." We actually had like a good 2 or 3 minute dialogue about it before we walked out. Like people were like talking about the things that they just saw in this movie. That's always a good sign of a good movie.
It is.
I don't know if anybody of y'all saw a few years ago the movie Crimes of the Future, the Cronenberg movie.
Cronenberg.
Oh, with
Tyler-
Viggo Mortensen?
No, Vigo.
Mortensen?
Vigo, yeah.
Went and saw that by myself at a theater downtown. And when it was over, this lady who was also by herself just started talking to me about the movie. I was like, I don't want to talk about it. No, that was weird.
Do you want to talk about any Cronenberg movie after it goes
No.
off?
No.
I don't want to
After watching Scanners and all that? No,
Oh
I'm
my
good.
god! And I recently watched Videodrome. I'm like, yeah, I don't.
That's another crazy one.
talking to you.
No, I'm gonna share this. Have we all seen Invisible Man, the 2020 movie?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right,
No.
that's like right before the pandemic. I saw that in theaters, and the movie went off. We got up this older gentleman, older black gentleman. He came up. He like, man, that's that white folk shit. It's like-
Not wrong.
Hey, I
And
did
I
say that to
imagine-
Randy about this
He's
movie.
not wrong.
And I bet you talk about that. That was just funny.
I told Randy, I was like, man, this was a good movie. I liked it, great dialogue, but this could only happen to white people. Like, this would have never played out like that.
Not
with
white
black
people. Me, like, I'm telling you, if I
Nah,
found
that's
out
what
my
it is.
wife had some thoughts when she was a kid, like, oh, but you cool now though, right?
But I would have talked.
Like,
And I think that's also like I said, like, we don't know how to talk about gun violence in this country. We don't know how to address the thing. And I was like,
that's what I was saying earlier. We don't know.
Most people in general
period.
don't know how to communicate. Period.
Yeah.
talk about it. I'm like, that's your fiance. Like, you can talk to her about. I'd been like, I'd be like, so what the fuck?
Listen, honestly, at 30, I've been with this person for a couple years. I lived with this person. they've been a good person their whole adult life or whatever. At 30, I'm finding out that at 15 you had these thoughts. I will have a couple questions for sure.
Yeah.
I'll ask my couple questions. I'll get my answers, and then we moving on with life. Like I am not kidding. That was a lot. I'm not. There's no reason to drill her on this thing that happened when she was a kid. Like I just don't feel like that.
Yeah, I talked to her about it.
No,
for sure.
the coworker was like, "I'd probably call the cops, bitch, for what?"
Listen, in my
Yeah, she did say that.
in my mind, that lady didn't like Zendaya's character already, and she was just looking for a reason to hate her. Because there's no reason as a friend you go.
She was ready to get cracked, and then she told her dude at the reception that he forced himself
she tried
on her.
To spin it.
Yeah,
like, sexually, did you harass? It's
no, but I'm talking about Zendaya's so-called friend that said, well, my cousin, is in a wheelchair because of
that's another.
She didn't like her already, bro. She already didn't like her because there's no reason that goes like that.
Robert Pattinson talking to the cousin needed like 2 more minutes.
Yeah,
we needed the cousin needed to explain like, yeah, but I really don't fuck with her like that. Because that was the implication.
Right.
There's a couple scenes in this movie that needed a little bit more time to flesh some things out. Because some scenes like ended, and I was like, man, we needed to dive into that a little bit more. Like we was in a spot where we was getting some information.
Because we really didn't get the yes or no if the DJ was huffing.
But that's the thing, yeah. And
it's like,
but that's the thing. I think that's written by design. Like you talk about the drug scene, and really didn't get to the bottom of that. But they didn't. The characters didn't.
Right.
But yeah, that's the.
It's like she does this whole huff and puff about, well, I'm calling my cousin because I would not feel comfortable, without asking if my cousin was okay. And like he stops the cousin on the street, and like she doesn't even know cousin about this at all. And like her cousin wasn't at the wedding. And it's like, okay, so that was just projection. Like that was just.
But that's a social media thing too, where everybody makes everything about them. Like you cannot see you can say nothing if you want to. You can see a post and you could be like, oh well, I don't agree, don't got nothing to do with me, and keep going. But no, I want to make this about me, so I have to comment, right?
Keep that shit
and
moving.
Say my disdain.
Shooting, and it's like that's irrelevant. Your cousin is in a wheelchair for something that she didn't like. It's
right.
Situation, really. But it's like there's people. That's Twitter. That's what Twitter is.
Exactly.
It's like as someone who has done this, let me tell you, and it's like you can apply it to anything. You look
right. That's the thing.
And somebody will be like, as somebody who paid $10,000 for my Coachella ticket, I'd be mad if the headliner did this, and it's like Justin Bieber doing something. That's like, okay, you didn't,
bro. It never stopped. There's people that went to the movies and saw Infinity War. Know it was a long ass movie. Bought a ticket to go see Endgame, and then left the movie and got online and complained that it was long. Like, motherfucker, he knew it was going to be long. You saw Infinity War, and it was long.
Yeah.
You saw Endgame, left it, and your complaint was so that you could say you don't like it.
When you buy tickets, they show the runtime. They show the runtime when you buy tickets. Like, that's on you.
Bro, but exactly. So, like, and that's the point. Is like people will make anything about them to have a reason to complain. You know what I mean? It's just what it is, man.
Yeah.
That's
man, it's crazy. We like talking about disturbing things, thoughts you had that you didn't go through with. It was a few years ago. I was at a movie theater, and I'm like, man, what if I went to see this Tyler Perry movie and I snapped out of it? I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Saved yourself a lot of pain there.
I died watching a Tyler Perry movie. Why would you say that?
Does this movie have a definitive ending? Like, is it like a definitive ending, or is one of those where it's like it's one of those endings where it's
I don't know.
You interpret your own ending. Like
I think it's definitive.
You don't interpret your own per se.
Yeah.
But they leave it in a place where it's like
okay, maybe.
It feels like they're gonna patch it up. I wanted the whole like, hey bro, you were tripping. You're right, I was wrong.
Yeah.
We're
That's
already
the
married.
rom-com ending.
That's the rom-com. Yeah, I can see that.
That's what
Where
you're
he
talking
chased
about.
her through the street or
So it was
Right.
none of that. It was more of a scene happens and they lean one way, but you could, where it's like, okay, they all going to go this route.
yeah, it's not Return of the
But
King, but
They
Return of the King.
pretty much Rocket. He's so gone down this rabbit hole of like what she said that he can't even get past it. Like, so so everything is in prep for the wedding, right?
yeah.
So they're at a cake tasting, wine tasting thing. It's for the wedding. The wedding is Saturday.
Oh, these are
So let's say
nice.
this is like the Saturday or Sunday before or something like that.
A week,
right?
a week later.
Yeah, it's a
before.
week.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So it's all of these events is happening within this week preparing for the wedding. Like they go take pictures for the wedding. Like it's all these things are for the wedding, right? They get married, but at the wedding, things are still not good. Everything's
Ooh.
still bad at the wedding. That's why I said rom-com. Because in a lot of rom-coms, the wedding always goes fucked up. But
Yeah.
then, but so the wedding goes completely, whatever you can imagine, the wedding is worse than that. I'm letting you know.
yeah,
When you watch the movie, whatever you think could be bad, the wedding was worse than that, okay?
and it's
The
nothing.
wedding happens. The wedding
what the heck?
happens. And it's pretty much one of those things where she leaves him, like she leaves him, like any rom-com.
Everything
would
really
do.
hits the fan at the
girl leaves.
reception.
Yeah.
And then he starts going to places that they were supposed to go after the wedding, blah, 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 like rom-coms normally do.
Mhm.
He shows up, he sits in a booth by himself, pretty much,
Like
something like that,
the
right?
Michael B. Jordan post-Oscar meal.
So, yeah, he sits in a booth by himself with a cheeseburger,
Winner.
right? And then she walks in and she sits with him, and she pretty much said something to him right then that she tried to do in the middle of the movie when he first started tripping, and he wasn't receptive to it. He was receptive to it the second time, pretty much is how it happened.
Once he fucked up the wedding, like that's everything that happens at the wedding is pretty much just aftermath.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything was him.
She
After
can't.
why would the coworker even show up to the wedding after what happened?
Yeah, like where she's like,
That's,
Because
That's more drama. That's why the name.
that's what people do.
Drama.
people do that. My problem, look, you see this kind of stuff in movies and shit all the time, and maybe it's just a me thing. If I do something now, even if I do something, you're gonna have to tell me the thing I did wrong before I'd be like, yeah, I did it. I don't understand why when Zendaya called the coworker into the room with him, she didn't even wait to hear the question before she was like, "Oh, he came on to me
Yeah.
and blah
Guilty
blah blah."
conscience.
It's like, who the fuck does that? She
Yeah.
could have asked you anything. You just blurted that out. Like they could have actually got away with that.
Right, but that's the point of it. That's the guilty conscience. She was
No,
just
for
like,
sure.
he
Facts.
came on and like, oh, it was a collective groan in the
So
theater when she.
Zendaya was pretty much Zendaya was pretty much calling the coworker. Remember, we said the coworker said her biggest mistake was she cheated on her man or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he came on to her, and she was willing to do it.
Ooh,
she was willing to do it, so she didn't learn a lesson. She was willing to. She was ready to
Yeah.
go. Like, but
I don't know.
but
10 years ago, I'd have folded. Like, well,
I think I would have.
that whole spiral, that whole moment in the reception spiraling, she thought she overheard somebody talking about a school shooting.
Yeah, outside the
and
door,
Robert
right.
Pattinson is sweating because this chick is there that it's gonna leak that they almost fucked. Because he's non-committal about everything, the whole
They-
plot.
that's going to ruin the wedding. Like something like that's going to come up and ruin the wedding. It's like, meanwhile, Pattinson has already hit the dominoes to like completely fuck up.
right.
You know, the girl.
Well, she calls Zendaya calls the girl into the room to pretty much ask her, "Hey, were you talking to somebody about a school shooting?" She called in the room for that,
Alana
but before
Haim.
she can even ask the question, the girl just starts blurting out all this shit.
I did it.
And it's like, you didn't even let her. She won't even
Yeah.
go talk. She didn't even know about that.
Yeah, should have been like no, and I'd been like, okay, cool.
And then right after that, Elemental talking about, hey, it's speech time.
It's elemental.
And then she gave a stupid ass speech that didn't do. I thought that she was gonna give a speech that was gonna really make shit go crazy. Her speech was pointless. She
All
just
she
wanted
said
attention.
was, you ain't got no
Right, that's the
friends.
thing.
She just wanted attention. Like she didn't even say nothing in the speech to even cause any riffraff.
She got drunk and made it about her.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, we're just gonna let it happen."
He was definitely the villain of this movie.
I was just about to say that shit. Alana Haim was on some Karen shit.
He definitely was. Even the black guy eventually came around.
Yeah.
The black guy eventually was like, "Fuck it, it is what it is."
Elemental.
She was the villain, bro. She was she carried. I think if she doesn't react like that, none of this stuff happens.
But what's the thing is this? So you're saying, was it Alana Haim's character was the one that was at one point bullying Zendaya's character when they were younger, right?
No.
They became friends, or
Hell,
okay,
Yeah.
They know each other through the guys.
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
The guys are friends. So now but the guys have been friends. They're like kid friends. They've been friends their whole life.
They've known for each other. Yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
but Zendaya and the wife at this point have now been friends for like 3 years. It ain't like they barely know each other. It's like because our husbands are friends, we're always around each other. They've been friends for years at this point. Like it's not a new friendship. It's like she didn't know her. They've been friends, right?
Got it.
So it was a weird thing for her to act like that. But I told Randy, bro, for women don't like women, man. I've been saying that. They don't like each other. And bro, it only takes a half a piece of anything
A thought.
for women's friendships to be over.
A 15-year-old thought.
They like this.
Like
And
we
speaking of
can argue, we can argue right now or whatever, and it might last a little while or whatever. But after a while, I'll be like, all right, okay, cool. Women are not like that, man. They're not.
It's
so Shelby tells me the same thing. She's like, I don't get it. I'm like, I don't get guys why they're this. Like, for example, she would tell me when she was in high school, she has a group of friends. One girl would get a purse. Okay, yeah, it's cool and all that. Someone had to outdo the other one, and I'm like, guys, you get a pair of sneakers, a dope pair of sneakers. You're like, those are dope, those are fly, this and that. I should get me a pair, and they're like, yeah, you should get yourself a pair. Like, blah blah blah. I got we don't care.
Yeah, we don't gatekeep the knowledge.
We don't care. And if we get even in disagreement, that's it. We're mad at each other for a week, a month, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's done.
You can have an enemy. You can have a complete. Me and Eric could be complete enemies, right?
That's why y'all wasn't on the same episode for like 8 straight episodes.
Look, yo, like it could be a whole when I see you, we gonna fight scenario, right? The way men are, we'll see each other and fight. We'll see each other and fight.
Squash that
and
shit.
off of the fact that we fought, we'll have respect for each other. It's like, damn, we fought, whatever. That's how women are not like that, man. They're not.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We can respectfully disagree. Like, for some reason, Randy thinks Time Cop is better than Hard Target. We'll never know why. But
that's crazy, Randy.
He's wrong.
Have you ever seen Hard Target?
My cousin was killed by a cop, Randy. Shot by.
Still a better movie.
Oh my God! See, like that.
That's really.
No, but seriously. But no, one of the lines, Chris Rock has one of his best moments in stand-up to me. And talking about the difference between women and men. And he say a man...
Do an impression. Do the voice.
Like, no. So Chris Rock said a man will go on a double date and he will see his friend with a woman. He'd be like, man, you got a nice looking... No, I'm sorry. Not a date. He said a man will see his friend with a woman like, man, I got to get me a girl like that.
Right.
And he said a woman will see her friend with a man and be like, man, I got to have him.
Yeah, that.
Chris Rock, yeah, you're like, man.
But you see it, like women will be best friends for years, 10, 15, 20 years. And something as simple as a simple argument friendship's over. Done. Forever.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's weird how that works. It's just a communication thing. Yeah, because they even joke about it themselves on social media. They be acting, and
I saw
it's just a competition. Like, also, I'm sorry, Mary. Like, one thing, like, do any of y'all really give a shit about the purse a woman is carrying?
No.
Yeah, they do that for other women.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
None of that shit is for us. We don't give a fuck about any of that. None of it.
Yeah.
down to lingerie. It's like, you like this? Like, yeah, I guess. But
Take it off anyway.
Right.
that
Take
shit
it
is
off.
gonna end up on the
That's
floor.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
I like
But-
the purse if it brings her joy. If it's her thing that she's so happy about this
What
purse.
was it? Oh shit!
She
Oh
didn't buy-
man, there was the Fresh Prince episode. I forget the chick. Was it like the church girl or some shit came out in like some fine ass lingerie, and Will Smith's just like, oh yeah, baby, now get naked.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I remember that.
like, but I saw this post the other day. It might have been on Instagram or Twitter, but the post was like, it was like women, and they were saying, could you live on an all woman planet, right? Could you live on an all woman planet, no men, right? And the man was like, hell no, I can't live on no planet without no women, like blah 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 blah, right? But women, of course, being women, the world would be so much safer, and of course I could live in a world with no men or whatever. I'm like, man, this planet would be extinct in 5 minutes. Y'all would be.
But no,
y'all-
it's yeah.
On
You know
the,
what I'm
That's interesting. The movie take us to this because the whole illogical thing, because social media is just boom, beginning, bam, end. The middle part, which is the most important part, it's like the whole illogical. Would you rather be in the woods with a man or a bear? What the? That is the dumbest shit
it's the
in
man.
the world.
I said that, bro. Listen, with the man, even if the man is dangerous, you have a chance of beating that man. Like, you can pick up a stick, whatever. You have a chance of beating. You have no chance with this fucking bear, though.
No.
You choosing the bear is insane. That's what.
But
You know?
somebody said a woman broke it down like this: the illogical element of that whole scenario, which is just a man bashing thing. The woman said, "Okay, the man bear thing," and she was saying to a young lady, she said, "Take 5 men in your life that you know, your father, your brother, your cousin, and ask yourself, would I be safe with either of them in the woods or a bear?" And the woman's like, "Oh, you put it that way." You're like, "Yes, that's the logical part of the thing and why it's so stupid."
Women move
anyway,
off emotion.
just-
We move off logic.
Logic.
Eh,
But yeah, it's and I could tell you.
sometimes. Not all of us.
No.
And
But
then
it's-
and
but it's
Maren,
just
I'm
a-
sure you know this. Unfortunately, what social media has done, they've taken what you call therapy words and whatnot and weaponized them, like gatekeeping.
There's always a
you're
word.
making me.
There's always a word. Right
Yeah.
now.
You're making me
the
feel
word-
unsafe. Gatekeeping, and there's another one. Just,
Right now, performative is the word. Right
Yeah.
now, it's performative. Last year, it was, I can't even think of what it was. Like, it's always a word that people are overly. Narcissist was like the word.
Narcissist.
For like
That's the
years.
one. Yes,
That's the
narcissism.
one.
Narcissist was, you're a narcissist. Every man that didn't agree with them was a narcissist.
It was narcissist.
Everyone.
Like,
But yeah, it's interesting. But yes,
we should
that-
add
that's-
on this episode to offset this conversation.
right. Because we go in there.
Y'all,
But no,
No,
that's
but-
what.
y'all want to go back there?
It goes along with what we watched. That the woman in the
Yeah,
movie
it's all about her, yeah.
was immediately
The
was
villain.
the person. The villain was the person who attacked Zendaya. She was the one that lit the match that started the fire. It was her.
We did that
Yeah.
for a
Started
while.
with
Y'all
her.
want to take it
the
back?
The man would have got past it if when you watch the movie.
Probably.
The men were already ready to be like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, as a guy, something like that happens when we get up to leave for the night or whatever. I can see one of us putting our arms around the other and be like, "Hey, if you ever need something,
Yeah.
let me know."
Ever put my arms around y'all?
You know, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know
It's,
what I'm saying?
like,
It's like-
I understand, like, you know, arm around Randy. You like Time Cop.
It's
But
all right.
It ain't bad. It's okay, buddy. Yeah.
It's
Love
okay.
that
It's
movie.
cool.
Randy, I got you.
I really
love
like
Time
Double
Cop. I love
Impact
that
too.
Double Impact's fun.
See, and that's what I mean. It's okay, Randy. You're safe here.
But Rocket,
Speaking of which, it's a new edition, a Double Impact coming out.
before we
But
ride
they do.
out, Rocket, now that you've seen the drama, what do you rate it?
No, it's actually hearing all this stuff. It's even more intriguing now that I know. It's like think about it. It's no different when people read a book and then they go see the movie. Okay,
Yep.
No different. The only thing about it is like now I'm more intrigued to see how it like.
It
I'm
plays out, yeah.
visualizing what you guys are telling me. Now I want to see it on the screen play out. Like,
I
that's
think this is a
what-
good movie for that.
And-
like
and-
this is one of those movies that's impossible to talk about without spoiling.
spoiling it.
But this is one of those movies where you can listen to what happened in the movie and be like, oh, I gotta see that. You know what I mean?
Well, the funny thing is this: is if prior to the movie releasing and all that, when they would do the little teaser trailers before whatever movie you're gonna watch, I remember seeing one of the teaser trailers where it's Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. They're taking a picture. Like,
Yeah,
they're just
the
taking a
scene from the
picture.
movie. Yeah,
And you could tell, like, at the time, you don't know what the hell the movie's about. It's like, all right, something's up here. Because, they're smiling. They're smiling because they have to smile. It's a picture. But one doesn't want to be near the other. And one wants to be near the other, but, doesn't know what to do. It was just very uncomfortable. And it's like, all right, what's up with this?
Yeah. So
So it's intriguing.
I'll be expecting a thorough, in-depth Letterboxd review. And
did I do a letterbox for this?
I think
did, right?
you better double check. I think in 2 weeks we gonna do a Michael spoiler discussion and probably hit on other musician biopics. If you've seen the drama, let us know what you thought. Comment, whatever. It is Rec League. I'll be back to put a wrap on this bitch. Yo. Ayo, picture perfect. I paint a perfect picture. She gossip with her girlfriends that your nickname is Little Richard. And if it's you and I and it's do or die, I refuse to be he who is crucified. I might give a fuck, but the tubes is tied. Trying to get work, you must be the newest guy. Still a student guy. I'm a student with mine. No suit and tie, just a uni pressed and the boots is tied. It's too divine, moving with the humankind. You rely on those and the no off of computers typed. Fake as fuck. Take your mouth and tape it shut. Punches stinging like a paper cut. So much flow, it can't be held in a paper cup. Say what up. You the type to need medication if you staying up. Shit is unbelievable, the shit you fabricate. How you make it up. Oh, here you go, bullshitting, faker than some dentures. And they the ones mad, but it's me who got the temper. And chill till the next episode.